Good afternoon, Year 5, and welcome to today's English lesson. So, same as always, I'd like you to open up your exercise books for me, please. Write English at the top of your page. Today's LO, which is to plan a story, as well as today's date, Wednesday, the 20th of January. Now, as you can probably tell from the LO, today we're going to be planning our own stories. We're going to do this based upon the poem, The Highwayman. Okay, and you're going to be telling a story from the point of view of either the character of the highwayman or the character of Bess. Okay, but before we do that, I'm just going to run through the poem again for you so you can pause the video, rewatch some of the slides, okay, just to remind yourself of the poem. So I'll do that for you now. Okay, hopefully you've had a quick look at the poem now, and we are on to our first task before we begin to plan our story, sorry, and we're going to be creating different paths. So here I have got a little story opener that I have just made for you. So it says, today was a horrible day. The wind was howling and the rain was pelting continuously against the window. I felt that something was wrong. So what I would like you to do now is I want you to use this story opener that I've created for you, and I want you to continue the story to create a little story introduction for me, okay? So I just want you to add 2 or maybe 3 more lines onto the end of this to create an introduction to a story. I want you to try and do that for me 2 or 3 different times, to create 2 or 3 or preferably 3 different story introductions for me, okay? So it doesn't have to be long, just adding 2 or 3 lines onto it, and I want you to do that 3 times for me. If you want to change this final line to make sure that the story, 3 story introductions that you make are a little bit different, that's absolutely fine. Feel free to change that last line. I also want this story to be from the point of view of either the highwayman or Bess, okay? You can do maybe one with Bess and one with the highwayman. I don't mind how you do it. So just to brainstorm some ideas of how you might be able to do an introduction to a story based on the point of view from the highwayman or as Bess. Okay, so hopefully that all makes sense for you. So I'd like you to pause the video now and have a go at writing 3 little story openers for me, please, or story introductions using this opener. Okay, hopefully you've paused that now and you've finished that section, and we're going to move on to our second task, which is actually planning our story. So you are going to be doing a story based upon the point of view from one of the characters, again, just like you've done before, of either the highwayman or Bess. So you are going to retell the story of what happens in the highwayman, but you're going to say it from the point of view of either the highwayman or Bess. So you're going to imagine that you're one of those characters and you're going to retell the story from your point of view. Okay, so when you do this, I want you to make sure when you're planning your story, you have a beginning, you have a middle, and you have an end. Now, you don't have to do it like this, okay, because you might want lots more information in your middle than you do than your beginning and your end. That's absolutely fine. You can do it like this. You could do it as a subheading with beginning and then some information below it, and then middle with some information below it, and another subheading with end, etc. You can do bullet points, you can do long paragraphs. I don't mind. It's entirely how you do it, as long as you're planning a story that you're going to write from the point of view of either the highwayman or from Bess. Okay, you can use any of the story openers that you've done before as your beginning bit if you want to. If you liked one of your ideas a lot, okay, feel free to do that. So make sure that when you're actually planning your story that you're following the structure of the poem, so you're not going off a complete tangent and writing about something that does not relate to the poem at all. And also I want you to be imaginative and creative when you're doing this story, and create maybe a little short scene in the middle that is not included within the poem. So for example, when the highwayman runs off into the distance and leaves Bess for a night, maybe you could describe briefly what happens in that part of the story, or if you're saying it from the point of view of Bess, you might want to write a little story about when she was waiting for the highwayman. You know, what does she do then? Okay. Make sure that you're including lots of powerful adjectives and descriptive words to plan into your final write. Okay, so I want you to plan what words you're going to use and put them in your plan. Okay, you can use like the word bank that you created yesterday to help you do that. Okay, so using that word bank, get those adjectives and plan where you're going to use them in your story. Okay, hopefully that all makes sense now. And what I would like you to do, so I'd like you to get on with that. Here's just a quick little waggle, what a good one looks like. Okay, just to give you some more ideas. So this is from the point of view of Bess. So we can see how this child has written it to include, it's included the structure of the story. So we've got the idea of the red coats coming in and gagging her and tying her to the bed. We've also got some information up here about what happens outside of the poem. Okay, so just to give you some ideas of what I really want from you. So obviously you're not going to be writing all this today though. You are only going to be doing your plan. So you set it up like that, like I said before. Your bullet points you can do, it's fine. Okay, you don't want all your detail, but I just want enough detail so that when you come to write it, you can use your plan and you can just grab things from your plan and put it in your writing. Okay, simple as that. So yeah, feel free to just rewind the video, flick through these slides a little bit because there's different information on each ones. So yeah, just make sure you've got lots of detail in your plan, so when it comes to write, you won't be scrapping for ideas. You should have all your ideas down in your plan. Once you've done that, I will see you in the live lesson later, and we will have a look at some of these plans and have a look at some of your different paths that you created earlier. I want to hear some of these story openers. Okay, thank you very much, Year 5. Enjoy the rest of the day, and I shall see you all later.